Hey everybody, Foxwell here. Today we're going to look at a guide for what I have found to be the most efficient way to handle the Northern Wastes Dailies as an Exile. Now, the first thing you want to do is if you are a tank or a healer, go ahead and invest in a DPS set. It's not going to cost you that much money, maybe about 6 platinum depending on the prices on your server, and it will make your life much easier. As far as managing 2 sets of gear, it seems like it'd be a hassle, but with one add-on, you can actually make that a lot easier. What you want to do is get the add-on called Mr. Fancy Pants. Now, right here you can see I'm in my tank set because I'm big and burly, and that, this transmog helps me block more damage. But over here you've got this, see, I've got this little bar, and what you can do with Mr. Fancy Pants is set up 2 different costume sets. Now, there's not support in the game to let it automatically switch costumes for you when you switch specs, but what it will do, as you can see, I just switched to my assault spec. It's going to highlight all your items for you. So all you have to do is right click, ad nauseum until you have your whole set. This makes it a lot easier than having to go through and hunt down your bags. This is my glove, my DPS gloves, my tank gloves, whatever. So definitely use Mr. Fancy Pants if you are a tank or a healer. Get in your DPS set, and let's go pick up some quests.
Could I trouble you for a moment? I'll let them know you'll be right there.
Alright, so that adorable little orange just gave us the general breadcrumb quest that's going to tell us all the different places we need to go, all the mini-hubs. Now, I'm an explorer, so I'm going to get that path-specific quest. Scientists, soldiers, etc. are going to get different ones. I'm sorry I don't have insight into their quest, but it's not really a big deal, it's just one quest.
I wouldn't stop to sniff the flowers.
Alright, so first of all, as you're going down this lane, just make sure you take time to activate all these... activate all these cameras and turrets on the way down. Pretty much click on anything that you see has a little glowing gear over it. Now, turrets and cameras don't take very long because you only need, I think, 4 of each. You need quite a few of those little cold survival kits I picked up, so that's probably what's going to keep you here. Now, as a general piece of advice, anytime you're out doing daily quests or questing of any types, I like to save kill quest for the very last. That's because as you're going around clicking on things, you don't know when some mob is going to randomly aggro from 2 zones away, come and try to maul your face. So if you focus on doing all of your kill completion quests first, then you may find that you're fighting a lot of mobs that you're not getting quest credit for because they aggroed onto you, but you already completed that quest. If you focus on the clickable and interactive quest first, then you're much less likely to end up killing a bunch of mobs that you don't need to. Now, once you complete all of your turrets and cameras, it's going to activate this little holdout right here, which is actually one of the longest quests that you have to worry about here. Mostly just because you spend so much time waiting for the next wave to spawn.
Double kill. Triple kill.
Every now and then, like that person right there, you'll see one of your quest objectives spawns in a corner, and you can go ahead and nab it while you're waiting for the next wave to spawn, but it's not a big deal if you miss it. Now, once again, this is just the most efficient way that I've found to do dailies, the route that I do. There's nothing saying that I'm perfect, so by all means, if you find a better, more efficient route that gets you through, gets you completed faster, and on with your business, please let me know. Leave a note in the comments, and give me your insight.
Double kill.
Now, as an added benefit, as you can see this person over here running into my group. Oh, no, he's not on this part of the quest yet either. No, he is. If you manage to get to this stage of the quest, like you've already completed the turrets and cameras activation, then when you activate this thing, you can actually, it does give group credit. So you can get 2 of you over here helping with the holdout, and it goes a little bit faster that way. But again, as you can see, most of the time you spend just waiting for mobs to spawn. Also, make sure that anytime you're doing any kind of solo questing, you run as many interrupts as you can. I've got 2 in the form of Zap and Bruiserbot. Bruiserbot's not always very reliable, but it works. You really want to maximize your use of moments of opportunity, or moves as most players call them. That's going to be a huge, huge DPS increase. Anytime you see something casting, interrupt it if you can. It's going to make your questing a lot faster. Now these poor explorers, when you click on them, they give you a little mini game where you have to hit F at the right times in order to save them. Honestly, as terrible as this sounds, it's a lot faster just to press F as quick as you can and screw up the minigame so that they die, because it takes only about 2 seconds for the disable to wear off instead of playing a 6-second minigame. So, yeah, it's heartless and cruel, but nobody is innocent. These guys probably did some shit, and they deserve to die. As you can see, we've got 66% on our Kill Augmented Creatures quest, so we're going to go ahead and polish that up as we're getting the last couple of Cold Survival Kits. Actually, we need quite a good many Cold Survival Kits, don't we? On the plus side, the Northern Wastes is actually, chock full of mobs that... Oh, shoot! Nope! Watch out for the avalanche! Okay, I made it. The Northern Wastes is actually full of mobs that drop plenty of great rune crafting materials, especially Signs of Water, which for some reason are especially rare. Depending on what server you're on, they can go from, anywhere between 12 to even 50 gold. I've seen them on Avitus sometimes. So as you're making your way up this mountain, you want to make sure that you avoid these avalanches, obviously. Fun fact, if you take shelter behind one of these little outcroppings, it will actually block the avalanche and you will not suffer the knockdown. On the other hand, if you do get hit by an avalanche, you're going to get knocked off your mount and be stunned for a little while. Alright. Here's where Nook's Barkbiter is hiding. You get this quest as soon as you complete the quest to rescue all of those explorers that we totally rescued. As soon as you rescue, quote-unquote, 3 explorers, he calls you and he's like, "Hey, I see you're down there rescuing guys. Why don't you come rescue me?" No problem, Nooks.
Foreign are natural explorers. Me especially.
Don't mention it, buddy.
How are things going out there?
Now, while you're up here, you can go ahead and ignite the first signal flare for the Explorer Path mission. Actually, it's a shame that these daily quests do not give path credit. Alright, so we still need to grab a few more Cold Survival Kits before we move on. We can go ahead and take care of that before we get on to the next area. And I'm sure that I'll get my last 19% Augmented Creatures kill while I'm working on it. Now, the interesting thing about dailies is they're a little bit more, I guess, random, than other games you may be used to, like WoW. Just because of the number of players that are going to be in a zone, or even the mob placement and what happened to spawn that day, there can be quite a bit of variance. So one day you might come in here and knock out all your dailies in 15 minutes. The other day it might take 25, In general, this is going to be the most efficient route, but there's always going to be that little bit of variance I said, which personally I appreciate. It's kind of nice having a little bit of variance in your daily habits, just so it doesn't become as much of a grind. And also, if it is getting too much of a grind for you, feel free to experiment, change up, do things in different order, different way. Just explore, see new zones. I do recommend that you definitely do all your dailies every day, because of several reasons. Like, number one, it's one of the fastest ways to get your Elder Gem cap. And on top of that, once you finish with your Elder Gem cap for the week, everything you do that gives experience gets turned into gold. So that means a lot of gold from doing dailies. I mean, you'll make at least a platinum per day once you're capped from just dailies. And for, 15 to 20 minutes of work, that's really not bad. We're going to move to the second questing zone real quick, but we're not going to complete all these quests before we move on. We're only going to do one of them, and then we're going to move on to the next zone, just because the map flow tends to work better that way. So we got all these quests to disable mines, and that's what we're going to focus on, but we're not going to go up into the Moody zone yet. We're actually going to go ahead and take care of the Elden Research Lab. But yeah, like I said, definitely do your dailies every day. It gives a ton of Elder Gems, and it gives a ton of gold. And in addition to that, it gives rep. And the Northern Wastes rep vendors, in addition to the Crimson Isle rep vendors, sell some really, really good gear. It's going to be like your best in slot before you get into raids. So every day that you're out here, you're getting Elder Points, you're getting gold, you're getting crafting materials, and you're getting reputation that's going to go towards some pretty sweet gear. Do be careful as you're running around on your mount trying to click these mines. Sometimes if you do like what I just did, where you click on it and let your mount drive you up to the mine, it'll drive you a little bit too close and you'll actually set off the mine. Let's see if I can make it happen just to show you. Oh, see? There it goes. So it's usually better to either, you know, hand drive yourself up there or just approach them on foot. It's safer that way. Alright.
You speak. I will
So now that quest's done, we're going to go up here to the Kinetic Research Facility. On the way, you can go ahead and hit one of these surveillance beacons with your quest ability. Usually key map to T. You want to freeze these little robots and beacons. Just because that tends to be the quest that takes the longest in the next zone we're going to. So if you happen to see one sitting next to you, go ahead and take it out. It'll make your life easier later on. Once again, avoid fighting as much as you can. Just not very efficient. And, you know,
I could use some help.
I consider myself a little bit of a pacifist, I guess.
Things just stink.
Ooh, Kinetic Relic Node. I want it so bad, but it's not very efficient for doing dailies. So this particular little mini hub for questing is one of the ones I was talking about that, like, your experience will really vary from day to day depending on how many other players are in the zone. And that, like, it can totally change what mini areas good to quest in here. Whenever possible, I like to come in here and go to the left. And it looks like the zone's pretty empty, so it's going to let me do that today. But if there's a lot of competition for mobs, you may want to change it up and go to the right. Not as many people go there. But the left has a lot better concentration that I found as far as the mobs that you can kill. Now, one thing that's really cool about the tagging system in WildStar is it functions similar to Guild Wars 2, where you don't have to worry about, you know, only one person getting credit per mob. Like, I'm killing these two robots right here. If somebody came in and started beating up on these robots, they would get credit too. But one thing they don't tell you about that is it works great like that for drop quests. You know, if you gotta collect something that drops from a mob, it's great. But if you are trying to actually complete a kill quest like this, where it says, you know, I've got to kill 18% more guardians or whatever, the amount of kill credit you get is proportional to how much damage you do to your mob. And that can actually be a problem, because in that case, if you're dealing with a very highly populated area and there's a lot of other DPS there that do more damage than you do, a lot of times when they're hitting your mob, they will get the vast majority of kill credit for it and you won't. So, in that sense, the quest can sometimes go faster or longer depending on what kind of players are around you. Now, you do want to be careful in here. Nothing's particularly dangerous, but it's real easy to just get into the zone of, hey, I'm just killing, collecting, all that kind of stuff. You actually need to stop after you kill every one of these augmented exiles and use your T ability to extract and sample from them. And you want to make sure you do that as soon as possible, because they actually do, the corpses despawn relatively fast. So don't get caught up on, you know, a 5 or 6 kill streak and forget to extract samples from your exiles, and then they despawn, and you have to kill them all over again.
Double kill.
And once again, make as much use of those moments of opportunity as you can. Interrupt every time you see red. And release these guys. You need to release 10 exiles from the prison.
Double kill.
Now, fortunately, you can do a fair bit of AoE rounding up, like I'm trying to do right here, But just be aware that different mobs are different, like, player classes, and some of them are ranged. Like, anytime you see a Mordash, it's going to be a Spell Slinger, which means, or possibly Ninja, I'm not sure. But either way, it's some type of ranged mob, so it's not going to come and find you. Likewise with the KE-19 here. But the Elden Guardians, the Augmented Granok, pretty sure the Augmented Orin, maybe the Augmented Humans, they're all melee mobs, so you can just run on through them, get up a whole group. Oh, I just did what I told you not to do. I ran off without extracting my mobs. There you go. But yeah, round a big group and have at it. I just noticed that extracting quest is actually number-based and not percentage-based. It just straight up says 8 instead of giving you 12% credit each time.
Double kill.
So the reason we're doing this particular zone instead of working on the Moody's is because we're trying to line things up so that the last zone we do is the Skeech Cave, which is my least favorite area over here, because as long as you're in the Skeech Cave, it applies a constant snare to you, and that snare grows over time unless you're standing in a fire, which just really slows down the questing experience. It's not particularly pleasant. So I like to always do that one last, so that by the time I'm done with the cave, I don't even have to worry about running back out of it. I can just hearth out, because it's such a pain in the neck to even walk in there.
Double kill.
So that's why we go for, you know, that the mountain area, and then the technological area, then the Moody's, and finally the Skeech Cave. No, I already had that die. It's a little bit irritating with the rewards. You can get a couple of things like Case of Coordinated Colors gives dies, and the Territory of Fascinating Furnishings, I believe it's called, gives decorations. And as far as I'm aware, there's no real way to tell if you already have all the dies from a particular collection. So, I usually pick the die case, and I keep on getting repeats. I'm not sure if I've already gotten every possible die that I could, or if I just have bad luck.
Double kill.
Now, if you see somebody killing mobs, feel free to help them out. Like I said, you do get shared credit, even though it's proportional to how much damage you do. The only thing you don't want to do, it's kind of like the dick player move, is to, you see somebody fighting a mob, you go and you tap it, and then you run them, so that you just get your little bit of credit. It doesn't really help you, because you're not going to get very much kill credit anyway, and it certainly doesn't help the player trying to kill that mob. Oh look, it's a friendly Dominion player. And he's an engineer too.
Double kill.
Okay, and that finishes it up for the Elden Lab. So now we're heading to the Moody Zone. Now remember, on your way to the Moody Zone, we do have an item quest to do, where we have to freeze surveillance bots and equipment. Oh, I seem to have gotten in combat. I'm just going to keep on running. So just make sure you stop at every node that you see marked on your map, like this one right here I'm about to come up on. Go ahead and freeze those, because that's probably going to be the quest that holds you up here. With regards to the Moody's, this is the one place that you actually can probably die if you're not careful. Most of the mobs are easy enough to round up for AoE fun. All of the Bone Slicers are melee. The Risen Orin, I believe, are melee. The Risen Granok are ranged, so what you really want to do is try to round up a group of Bone Slicers like that. Maybe a few more Bone Slicers and Wardens, and bring them over to a Granok. And that way you can just make that your little base that you're going to AoE everything down from. but you want to be really, really super careful, because if you look closely, in this pack I've got something called a Flame Dancer, and those guys hurt a lot. They are ranged, they do a stun and summon a Firestorm. I believe the Flame Shamans do as well. You definitely want to prioritize killing them as fast as possible, because they will kill you without you even realizing. It's pretty crazy. And it's happened to me more times than I would like to admit. Sort of like when you're in War of the Wilds and everything's going great, you're about to get gold medal and all of a sudden you just go from 100 to 0 in no time, and you're like, what just happened to me? And it turns out Ignacio is on top of you spamming Flamethrower, you know? Those Flame Dancer Moody's and Flame Shamans are bad news. Make sure you interrupt their targeted telegraphs, and like I said, prioritize them first for kills. Alright, seems there's quite a few Flame Dancers out here today, actually. I'm going to try to do an AoE roundup.
Double kill. Triple kill.
So that particular kill quest goes really fast if you're able to make those big AoE pulls like I've been illustrating. Well, there's usually some bone splicers here that can help round up, but this will probably give me enough credit anyway.
Double kill.
Not quite. Need 2% more. Now this particular area that I'm about to hop up is part of the Explorer-specific quest. So if you're not an Explorer, just ignore this part. I prefer to do any kind of jumping on my mount just because it's a lot easier. Alright, we're going to sweep on over here to the second to last Explorer spot. And then we're going to head towards the Moody Cave while finishing up the last of our... What's going on here? There we go. While finishing up the last of our quests over here. You have to keep an eye out for those surveillance beacons and little robots, because they actually do not have the orange gear over them. The surveillance beacons make a very noticeable noise, and they're quite big, so it's hard to miss them. But the surveillance bots are actually really small and very easy to overlook, unless you happen to be looking at your map and you see that big orange diamond on it. Okay, that was the final Explorer-specific, or no, it's the second final, I'm sorry. That was the second final Explorer-specific node that we got to hit. Got to kill at least one more Moody on the way over here. We'll take out these two little guys. Sorry. Numbers came up. It was the brakes.
Double kill.
Alright. Once again, we're going to get a case of coordinated colors and probably get a die that I already have. Let's find out. Oh man, it's the same exact die that I just got. Oh. Yeah, I can never make up my mind about whether I want the coordinated colors or the fascinating furnishings. Because at least if you get a decor that you already have, you can still add it to your crate. It is useful. You know, if you get a die that you already have, it's a complete and utter waste. And it's really disappointing. Okay, we don't fall off here. This whole jumping puzzle I'm doing is the legitimate last Explorer-specific quest. There we go.
Waiting to hear from you. Don't get yourself killed.
So from here, you want to jump all the way over here, leap of faith, and come to the last little mini-hub of the Northern Wastes Zone. That's going to go ahead and complete your breadcrumb quest that you first picked up.
I ain't been this happy in quite a spell. If you can't suss this, no one can.
Okay, so before we head into the cave, we're going to try to get all of our supplies. The supplies drop from the Skeech in addition to being lootable on the ground, and you get a lot faster completion if you loot the boxes instead of killing these guys. But what I like to do is do the best of both worlds, round up a big old group, AoE them down, and then from there just loot everything that's unguarded.
Double kill.
And you'll get it completed pretty fast. Now, you are able to get these supplies from inside the cave as well, but it's really not a good idea to go in there to get them, because, like I said, that's the cave that slows you down. It's going to really slow down your questing experience. And once you finish getting all these supplies, you're going to have to do another holdout mission out here. So, if you go ahead and take care of all of your supplies before you go into the cave, you can go ahead and do the holdout, and once you get your business finished in the cave, you don't have anything else to do. You're fine. If you go in there and collect supplies, then you have to run all the way back out here and then do the holdout, and just, it's not very efficient. Seems to be having trouble being able to group these guys up today.
Double kill.
That might be all I need between these boxes. Yeah, we're good. So you would come over here and start this little holdout event. And this one takes much less time than the last one. They spawn a lot faster, they seem to die a lot faster. Good times for everybody.
Triple kill.
Well, you used to spawn a lot faster. There we go.
Double kill. Triple kill.
While you're at it, may as well go ahead and pull some mobs that are nearby. These guys don't hit for anything. They're not very dangerous at all. You can even eat a lot of their telegraphs with no pain. So it's a great way to get some extra gold or elder points, depending on what you need.
Uber kill.
And you get those kill chains. You know, it took me actually a lot longer than I'd like to admit to realize this, but every time you get one of those kill chains, I thought it was just, you know, just for fun. It actually does have combat benefits. Every time you get a kill chain, you get a stacking buff. It'll be a random buff. It might, you know, decrease the amount of damage you take or increase the amount of damage you do.
Go on, spill. Reckon that's
But
all there is to
if you
say.
can get a lot of multi-kills and a lot of AoEs, then you can really start stacking those buffs, and it really does help out. Oh no, this poor guy is about to die. Let's see if I can heal him. There we go. Always be a friend that doesn't need. So as you saw, I just healed a player even though I'm an engineer. That's because I'm using an amazing gadget that I strongly, strongly recommend for anybody in their solo adventures, called Protection. This is the PvP gadget. I assume it's called the same thing for Dominion players as well. It costs, I think, 700 prestige, whatever the PvP currency is. I'm sorry, I don't do very much PvP. It's real easy to get. Just a couple matches, and you'll have enough to save up for it. It's a great, great gadget because it heals not only yourself, but up to 5 friendly players as well. I use it when I'm tanking because it's a great personal cooldown and it helps out my group. And I use it when I'm DPSing solo as well because, especially if you're not a healing class, heals are just
Double kill.
absolutely integral to keeping a good uptime. And that's one of the things you'll notice is that I actually never stop to eat. I don't really have to. I've got a little bit of self-healing as an engineer. I've got the keep on trucking talent, where every time I kill something, it heals me for a little bit. But if I ever do overpull and a group leaves me a little bit lower than I should be on health, then I can just smack that protection. It's only a 1 minute cooldown, and I'm ready to keep on going.
Double kill.
Once again, downtime is your enemy. We're all about efficiency. Less time doing dailies means more time
Got something for me, friend?
doing whatever else you like to do.
Come on back soon now.
Alright, so now that we've made it to the back of the cave, we need to collect staves from these shamans. Fortunately, you only need 3. Usually they're not so spread apart, but it looks like I've got a decent amount of competition for mobs in here today.
Double kill.
So as you can see, that snare is starting to really kick in. I've got this body temperature hazard sign over here, the upper left-hand side of the screen, and the longer that I'm in here that I'm not next to a fire, the lower my body temperature is going to drop and the slower I'm going to get. It will actually stun you at a certain point.
Double kill.
It's just like that, the Blizzard event in Veterans, I mean, what's it called? White Veil. Crime Lords, thank you. Crime Lords of White Veil. Alright, just one more shaman. I see right where he is. Right next to a fire, too, so that makes my life even better.
Double kill.
Alright, so that's all of my staves. Just gotta activate this fire pit right here and kill a little mini boss. And we will be done for the day. Now, paradoxically enough, this Rimehide fire pit, after you light it, does not actually count as a fire pit for the sake of resetting your body temperature. So, go figure. Gonna go ahead and blow everything I got in this guy since he's the last one. And we are done. So, you've just finished your Northern Wastes Dailies, and you can move on with your life. So, I usually just teleport out at this point. And if you want, stick around. I'll show you a little trick for teleportation. But aside from that, I'll see you next time on my Crimson Isle Daily Guide.